In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boy BlockchainCrusader here at Debate Crypto for NFT Tuesday, and we got the one and only JCHAINS from MetaMoney. How's it going, man?
What is up, my man? What is up? I appreciate you having me on. Thank you guys so much. What is up to the community here? Nice to be here,
Dude,
man.
I
I'm
appreciate
excited.
you coming on.
Oh, come on now. This is gonna be fun, man. I'm all about NFTs and metaverse on a Tuesday, man. No better day to talk about that. Any day that ends with a Y is a good day to talk about metaverse, NFTs, and Web3, all sorts of fun stuff.
Dude, for sure. So NFT Tuesday is a new segment that we've started here on Debate Crypto. This is, I believe, our third episode. And, you know, who better to have than MetaMoney themselves right on here to talk about NFTs. And, you know, we talk about, you know, we've had Loudmouth from Lazy Apes, and we've had, I forgot who we had on the first episode now, but I believe it was Miggy. It was Miggy. It was who we had for the first episode. Yeah, Miggy.
Miggy Crypto, cool.
Yeah, we had him. So, you know, we were talking about YUGA Labs, and you know, YUGA Labs has been doing a lot of amazing things in the background. I have jumped into a few spaces. I've heard a few things about YUGA Lab, what they're doing with ApeCoin, Otherside, right? There's a lot of different things. You see how excited my daughter is for YUGA Lab? She's out there in the background, like, yeah. So, what can you tell the people about YUGA Labs? What have they been up to lately? What are they coming up to now? What are they scheming right now?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, you know, obviously they're in the news all the time about what's happening, whether it's with the bored apes or some other things that are going on. But you know, right now they've really made a big push onto they're doing a game, right, and making the metaverse that kind of leading force. So you know, they just hired on a kind of a director role, a C-level, a C-suite guy to really be in charge of their gaming leg of the company in order to make sure that everything with the other side goes off without a hitch. Now, you know, over on our channel on MetaMoney, you know, one thing that we do every day in our live stream is we track floor prices for, you know, our favorite and your favorite. You know, if you're into that kind of stuff, the floor prices of the metaverse land, and you know, we do with the other side, and we do Sandbox and a couple other ones. But I tell you what, like if that's something you're into and interested in, like right now is really a good time to start looking. It's like 1.7 ETH is the floor on it. You know, these things launched well above that, especially when ETH was a lot higher.
Oh
Back
yeah.
in April, like that was back in April. So, ETH was way more expensive, and it was several ETH. So, you know, at 1.5, much cheaper. Like your entry point is like pretty awesome, and they're not slowing down. I mean, Yuga, they do a great job of under promising and over delivering. So.
Yeah, so where do you see? So they're creating the other side, right? They're creating this like metaverse. Have they dropped any other like exclusive information lately since April about what's going on with the game or what they're doing with the deeds and the NFTs themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So like, there's been a few things here and there that have come out, and like, whether it's a beta test or load test where, players, you could actually log in. You had to, it was token gated, so you had to log in with your wallet, and you have to have a mutant, or you had to have another deed to get in. And then, your character could actually, get there and, walk around the land. And they did a couple of those. And then there was one other test. And so that was basically like the first trip. And that's all part of what's called like the obelisk. And so it's the 11-part series where, and you can actually see it. Like if you go onto on OpenSea, you can search. It's one of the things you can search by. But if you go to the website otherside.xyz and look for your plot, and like you could actually click on it and flip it over, and it'll show you how many times you've participated in in this. And the whole thought was like, if you participate in all 11 parts of the journey, like you get another deed, because that's one of the things that's written into the white paper, because eventually there'll be 200,000 plots. There's currently only 100 right now. Yeah.
So there's only 50% of the supply is out right now.
Right.
How do you think that's going to affect the price of when they release? Do they have any plans on how they're going to release the other 100?
So
is it also
yeah,
going to be sold?
So I believe there will be some that get sold. Most of it though is like saved for the people for the development. So people in the community that participate and help build it and help navigate kind of the tests and everything that they do. So like I was saying, like participate in all these things. Like my favorite one, and I think it's a lot of people that are interested in this as well is, when we figure out the decoupling and kind of the origin of the codas, because, those things are, kind of the rumor on the street is, like once they decouple, like that'll be the Bored Ape of the whole thing, and the price of those things will just shoot way, way up. So, there's speculation, obviously, and that's kind of the fun part of it until, until you know exactly what's going to happen. It's, you have fun with the whole rumor aspect.
Yeah, dude. So I wanted to ask you, right? You look at a lot of different NFT projects, you look at a lot of metaverse stuff. What do you think really sets Yuga Labs? Like there's no formula for success, right? There's not
Right.
this one formula
It's
that
a
everybody follows
unicorn.
equals C, and that's always going to be success, right? But what is it
Mhm.
that they do compared to like other NFT projects that just sets them so far apart?
You know what? That's a great question. I mean, it's just a true unicorn story. So I feel like a lot of people at this point have, tried to mimic that same success, or, the same strategy, and it's not met with that same success. So like, what they did and kind of how it got started, like, I mean, those things for like a year were almost worthless. Like they were not
Yep.
very expensive, and then all of a sudden, they took off. And so, whatever the success was, and some people say it was like Clubhouse, right? The ability for people to get together, and start, use that power of community, get together and talk about these things, and sell them off, and and get people like excited about it. So like I've heard that, and so like that's what excites me kind of about Twitter Spaces, is that I spend a lot of time on there, and that's a cool place to like chat with people and learn, and find out about new projects like almost every single day.
Dude, 100%. Guys, I just want to say quickly, smash the likes if you haven't smashed the likes, and go follow J Chains. His link is down below. If you're not following J Chains Meta Money on Twitter, on YouTube, you guys are missing out. Go follow him, show him some love, and make sure you smash that like. So what I was saying was Twitter Spaces, right? Twitter Spaces have been
Yeah.
a huge thing. Nick and I, right? We started with Danger Close Alpha, our first NFT project, and man, we have discovered that Twitter Spaces are so powerful when it comes to NFTs. It's a whole nother world in there in Twitter, outside from YouTube, and so many NFT projects are there. I mean, Loudmouth himself does like a Twitter space from like 11 o'clock at night on Monday to like I seen up to 8 a.m. the next
It's
day,
Dude,
all
it's nutty.
night, dude.
It's nutty, yeah. So I'm part of that whole community too. Him and I are boys. We've hung out at many of the conferences that I've seen. Definitely Keeper at. I've seen you at a bunch of them, but I'm definitely in that Lazy Ape community as well. I'm the Cheetah Gang trait leader. So we do on Monday nights, or
Nice.
we do our Twitter space at 9 p.m. We run until 11 p.m. Eastern, and then FOMO with Loudmouth starts at 11 p.m. Eastern. So we're like the tailgate party, like right before Loudmouth show, like we get the crowd warmed up, have a good time. I'm always having a good time here in my home studio. So
Dude,
if you guys if you guys haven't joined a Twitter space, man, I suggest you do. Like it's a great place to learn, especially now, to build like community and connections. This is like some of the most valuable time to do it.
Dude, 100%. We've kind of backed off. We've been distracted with a lot of different things happening from the Twitter Spaces, but we were doing Twitter Spaces every Tuesday and Thursday at about 9 p.m. every week, I should say. And I think we're gonna start rescheduling our Twitter Spaces again for the Danger Close Alpha community, because it is very important, and it just takes a whole nother grasp of NFT people. A lot of NFT people are big on Twitter and not so big on YouTube a lot. And the only way to really, there's a different chemistry when you're in a Twitter space talking to people, and those people can jump on stage and talk to you back, versus being on YouTube here, right? People are kind of limited to the chat box, and it's not the same type of interaction. And people really like that, to really feel like you're part of the community, being part of these Twitter spaces. So my next question was going to be, when you're looking at NFT projects, right? We understand that to match Yuga Labs success is practically impossible, right? They just have another level of things. But what do you look at when you look at an NFT project and say, this is a check mark here, this is a red flag over here, this looks like a solid project because of
Mhm.
A, B, and C, or maybe, hey, I think this project has a few holes in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, obviously, like the first thing you always want to do is like check the team out to make sure that it's not, whether it's a serial rug pull, or like an organization. There's, I think several known organizations at this point that, their goal is basically just to create collections to, to pump and dump or whatever. So like,
Yeah, cash grabs.
Yeah, and so to make sure that you follow whoever it is, and I get, like, even Lazy Apes was doxed founders, but when you have people who are, like myself, I'm known in the community, and there were several other people talking about the project, kind of promoting it, knowing, like, we knew behind the scenes, we were under NDA, who the founders are, so like, we're not allowed to say anything, but we do know who they are, and they are well respected people. So, like, I had no problem attaching my name to a project like that. And I think that's like a unique situation. Like, if you find yourself like embedded in the community, like as someone who is just maybe tuning in for the first time, this is your first NFT project, I would suggest probably that's not the way to go. But again, I live, this is my daily life, this is what I do full time, so like it's a little different to like know people, when behind the scenes. So, and we were all
Yeah.
transparent about it all in the spaces too. Like, we have to be.
Yeah, transparency is always very, very important. For me, I always try to focus on utility, like you said, the team, right? Transparency, how authentic things are with information and so forth. So, is there any other NFT project or metaverse thing that you're looking at right now that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of yet, kind of down low on the radar right now that you can share with us?
I mean, no, I mean, like, really, like, this is just the time to be paying attention to what is coming out, what's already out. I mean, like, obviously there's big cap projects, and if you're looking just to put some money in something that when the market comes back, the attention comes back, the prices naturally go up, and whether it's land or the token, that's whatever fits your risk assessment. You do what works for you. Like, I probably will end up doing both. I'd like to make sure that I've got not only the token, but the land to
Yeah.
to really be a part of the ecosystem and the community and stuff. But like, obviously, like, again, if you're just ready to like kind of get like a consistent ROI on like what you've invested in, like the larger caps are, but there's all sorts of smaller caps. I mean, like, think of like projects like Everdome. Like, Everdome's I think a small cap project this particular moment. Now they've got a lot of tokens. There are many tokens in their thing, but they're building like a hyper realistic metaverse. And so to me, and a lot of people, like, they've got their own opinions on it. If you like the voxel style, if you like more of the hyper realistic, I personally like the hyper realistic. I think if I'm going to go into the metaverse, and
Same.
whether if I want to have a business meeting or if I want to go and just experience something, like, I don't want to be talking to a cartoon dinosaur. Like, let my young nephew or my daughter do that.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, 100%. And one thing I started thinking about today, we were quickly talking about it behind the scenes before we went live, about how Gary Gensler came out saying, that now the SEC has everything under Ethereum is under their jurisdiction, kind of thing. And just a quick thought, right? Completely off the top of my head, and I just want to see what you think about this. Do you think that this is their way of starting to creep into the NFT space by saying, hey, now that Ethereum is completely under our jurisdiction, that would then mean that they're talking about all transactions happening on Ethereum. That would include NFT transactions, right? Because that's built on the Ethereum network here.
Mhm.
So is that their way to creep into regulations for NFTs? What do you think about that?
I mean, I love that question. I mean, I think the answer is like, if you trust nothing, right? Like, that's kind of the point of what you do here, right? Is like, we don't
Yeah.
at this point, I don't think there's too many people that trust the government. So like, I would say that, yeah, like, at this point, like, it would be safe to say that if they think that they have jurisdiction over every Ethereum transaction, they know there's a shitload of money in Ethereum NFTs. You got the Bored
Oh
Apes, you
yeah.
got you got a lot of money. I mean, billions and billions of dollars being transacted through the network, and they want a cut of it. Like, that's what they want. They want to put their grubby mitts in there, so that gives them access to it.
Yeah, dude. And another thing I was talking about with Nick yesterday, because we quickly chatted about this on the show yesterday. But now that they've said that, right, and the way they talked about it was like, hey, because there's a majority, I think it was like 45% of the nodes are from the
Mhm.
United States, gives them the authority to put almost everything under their jurisdiction. It is the merge, right? The merge that just happened, that we went to proof of stake with Ethereum. Is that their way to then be able to, sink in more capital into Ethereum and create more nodes within the United States so they can gain more power over ETH? What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, like, again, it's there has to be. I think there's a lot of different ways to understand that there are wolves in sheep's clothing, right?
For sure.
Whether
Yeah.
it's people who might put on a facade that they are blockchain or crypto friendly when, they've got hidden agendas and stuff. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, anything can happen behind the scenes. And I would bet, like, especially with, what they're talking about with Ethereum and, some other things that are happening with, trying to get crypto licenses throughout the country, much like in New York. I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of stifling going on at the kind of the benefit of, politicians. And I think that that's unfortunate because that goes against anything that this movement was even started for.
Yep. Yeah, man.
It's
It's
kind of,
sip of water.
and like there's another thing where people always said for years, and I think crypto had a chance, like, and I hope that like we find a way to get it back on track, and maybe it's a big shakeout, maybe it's a big dump, maybe it's like some shitty law that goes into play, and then we lose a lot of interest, and we've got to build it back up, and and get the credit back. But I think that it's just we like with the financial thing, and think about the legacy financial system, right? Like,
yeah,
they screwed it up. Like it's a debacle, it's a mess,
big
it's
time.
corrupt. But like, what did people always want with crypto? We want mass adoption. We want institutional money. Like institutional money will bring it on. Well, what happens when you got
Double-edged sword,
money?
bro?
We got hosed, man.
Sword.
We asked for it. We got it.
100%, dude. Double-edged sword. I mean, dude, it's ridiculous, right? People wanted mass adoption at a accelerated rate. Institutions come in. That means they're going to be taking control of a lot of stuff that's happening in crypto, and things are going to be changing big time. By the way, we got Loudmouth in the house.
What's up,
Loudmouth in the house? We got Nick from the airport messaging here saying hashtag 3 girl dads in the house.
Let's go.
Awesome. That's awesome.
My fellow girl dads, let's go.
Yeah, man. Loudmouth said layc cheetah gang. So tell me more about that, dude. Tell me about the cheetah gang. How does that work? How did you become a trait leader? And tell me about that.
Yeah, well, so that was kind of the whole focus on what we were going to do with the Lazy Apes when it came out. Was we knew that you saw the collections, and kind of what you've seen in some other NFT collections recently is people forming trade groups, and whether it's bonding over the common the skin on these things, cheetah in my case, or there's the captain's hats, there's the king's crowns, all that. So it's these commonality traits where people get together and like you have these Twitter spaces and you start to build your friends and your network and your community, and then you're all of a sudden you're saying like, hey, let's all do something, let's build a business. So like maybe the cheetah gang decides to do an animated series, right? And if you've got a cheetah, we vote on what cheetahs are actually in the series, and then bring in some other traits so that we've got some variation. But what we can do is like everybody can participate. We need like animation, creators, story writing, voiceovers, all sorts of stuff, so the community can come together, whether we source it in-house or build it, do something fun like that. Say we've got a bunch of cheetahs that have a joint, like we can start a cannabis company. What I mean? Like there's all sorts of fun stuff that we can do, that we can take our IP and run with it. We don't have to wait for developers or founders or anyone else to say what the plan is. Like let's write our own roadmap is basically what we're going to do. So cheetah gang, that's what we're going to do. A lot of groups have already started doing that too, which is fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, right? Like I was in a Twitter space a few days ago, maybe a little bit longer than that now, and talk about how I feel like NFT collections have become like the fraternity houses, right? The fraternity networks of like the 21st century, right? Or the Web3 space. Like people used to join, you join a fraternity in a college because you hope that one day that's going to give you a connection to a really good job. You're going to go to a job interview. You're going to bond with the guy interviewing you over, hey, the fact that we went to the same fraternity, right? You get a hookup, you get in there, you get connections, you're networking, right? Now you're networking within these massive collections of, with people all around the world, creating, like you said, right? You can make a business, and now you're taking it even further into these sub-trait groups. So you're making sub-communities within the community. So it's not just the creator of the project is the overall leader, but now you have sub-leaders with sub-communities, and people are being more active, and you've delegated to these other smaller communities. And like you said, right, Cheetah Gang, they can create their own show. You can do all these amazing things that the original creator of the project might have never even thought of ever. But since he delegated that power into these sub-communities, great things can come out from these sub-communities that would be great for the project overall. And I really like that idea.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
fun, and and it's fun to also just build a community with people who are like-minded. Like most of us, I spend a lot of my time at the studio, and yeah, we got a lot of people at our studio, but I talk to a camera a lot, and so to be able to break away, and whether it's on Twitter or on Discord, it's fun to be able to pop into a Twitter space or a Discord voice chat or whatever, and communicate with your homies, with your friends, your people in your community. Like it's just it's something I think Web3 is changing the game as far as hey, we all figured out at some point, if we're stuck at home or we're stuck in front of a computer, all day long, let's just meet people and have a good conversation and learn.
yeah, yeah, dude, exactly right. We kind of got inspired by that idea, and within our project, Danger Close Alpha, since our characters are broken up into four categories: the merchant, the engineer, the hunter, and the medic. We're breaking them up into four factions, and we're kind of creating a faction war competition game between them, right? So we're dividing them up. We're doing a draft. We've had everybody sign up, drop their address, drop their Discord name, and we're gonna literally do a draft within the Discord, put them into these different categories of the factions, and they're gonna have to compete within a month to see what faction gets the most points, right? And it's going to be through different NFTs that they collect whether it's the bug out bags, the gas mask that we released, and they're going to be doing real presentations about a skill from their faction, right? So a medic
Nice.
would do a presentation about something medical, and then people are all going to vote on who did the best presentation from the four different factions, and you're going to be gaining points to then be able to the winning faction is going to win ETH, win a bunch of different other smaller awards, NFTs, and so forth. And it creates this friendly competition between them, which allows them to learn, but at the same time, collect NFTs. And I think it's a really cool idea, and we've really liked that whole sub faction thing.
Mhm.
And I think it works, man. I think it's a good recipe for success.
Absolutely, man. I think and it's the recipe for success. I think across the board right now, it's the gamification, it's
Yeah.
it's the tokenization, or it's the incentivization, to have fun. Like really, basically, you're in this community for a very specific reason, and now you get to have fun with the others in it. You get to do these puzzles and challenges and win something, or earn some street cred. I mean, it's just such a freaking cool idea.
Yeah, exactly right. And another thing is, Nick and I have realized, right? We don't want to be running the show all the time, right? We
Right.
want, right, sub leaders. We want leaders in the community to rise and take over certain subsects of the group, and do things like the merchants, right? We've been able to kind of split up our whales within the community into the different factions, and everybody's really excited because these people are really active in the community, and it's like they get a different perspective, right? Like Nick and I have a perspective, and we have certain ideas where we want to take the project, but these sub leaders, they have so many other good ideas that they bring to our attention. They bring it to the attention of the rest of the community, and they've really bonded over this, right? Like they've bonded over the project, they've bonded over the story, the gamification, like you said. And we're going to be having a meetup here in a couple of months, and
Nice.
people, you create a whole nother network of friends, and like a brotherhood that you just don't really see. The only thing I can equate it to is like what I said earlier, right? The fraternity houses, the sororities in colleges, but now we're digitizing that.
Yeah, it's we were talking about this in a space several weeks ago, and it was much like the fraternity example that you're giving. It's for some of the older guys, it's this is our country club. I don't have time to go out and play golf. Like as much as
Yeah.
I grew up playing golf, I love it. If I could, I would, but I don't have that time right now. And so this is my country club. This is what I do for fun. This is I get to go out, and if I'm here in a conversation, and if I'm getting to spend an hour, or even 30, 15, whatever, 15 minutes in the Twitter space, you're gonna learn something. You're gonna meet someone, excuse me. It's just, this is
Yeah,
it. This is
man,
where it's
you
happening.
100% right. You never know who you could be meeting in one of these Twitter spaces, in one of these NFT communities that completely can change your life, right? They can open a door to either creating another business or just a connection in a industry that you didn't even know you could make a connection in. And it was all done through an NFT project, through a Twitter space, talking to somebody, and that has allowed you to enter into this thing. I heard somebody talk about they were in a subtrade group, I think, of the Lazy Lions. I think they were called something like the Lazy Marshals. I think it was like the cowboy sheriff hat. And I think they mentioned something about how they like created like a whole like I think it was either bourbon and whiskey business. I think they all banded together to create that. Like, how crazy is that, dude? Like, we see celebrities creating celebrity whiskey and tequila and stuff like that. Imagine these NFTs, and because NFTs are companies, they're brands, they're startup companies, they're a branding thing, right? Sooner more than later, we're going to be seeing these big successful NFT projects really take off. And whether the NFT project itself is successful or not, sub communities from these collections can create a very successful business idea because they have the IP rights to the art, and they can like the Lazy Marshalls or whatever it was that I heard in the Twitter space, creating a whole whiskey brand. And who knows if that whiskey brand becomes the next big whiskey brand out there. You start running commercials and all these things, like, and it all came from an NFT project.
Absolutely. I mean, like, you're even seeing that with like the Bored Apes, right? Happy Dad Seltzer, they partnered with them, and they did like a special run, and it was not really that good. Like, it was fun for the nostalgia. It was banana flavored seltzer, alcoholic seltzer. So it was cool. Like, we my social media coordinator Breezy, she awesome gifted me a 12-pack while we were out there on the last day. We took it to the pool party and kind of shared it around with everybody there to experience it and have a good time. And it was fun to take photos with it and all that stuff. But I tell you what, man, like banana seltzer is not good, but the nostalgia of it was a lot of fun. But like, just taking that IP and like doing stuff with it, like, I think that's like, something that people don't maybe understand quite yet, or why it's not taking off, as at an exponential rate as much as we think it should be. But like, for you to take like, okay, I'm going to buy a mutant. It's 20 grand. All of a sudden you have a instantly recognizable brand, and maybe the mutant because we in it. So, all right, let's advance it up to a Bored Ape, right? So now you spend $100,000 on this, and you're starting a business, right? So you're getting a business loan for all this anyway. So it's not, you don't have to have the personal money for it. You just have to have the idea. You build the business plan, get the loan, yada yada yada. Anyway, so you've got your Bored Ape, and now you've got an instantly recognizable brand that you can do anything. You start a pizza company, you get one with a pizza in the mouth, and now you've got your pizza company, and you run with it. And instead of thinking about like, shit, I just spent 6 figures on a Bored Ape, what you think about is, I just built myself an 8-figure business.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because you put that logo outside your store, whatever it is, right? Younger generation people that are eating pizza, they're gonna see that, they're like, wait a minute, there's a Bored Ape here with its pizza. It's a pizza company, it's a pizza store, and they're gonna go run to it just because of the nostalgia that they know that it's a Bored Ape, right? And then you start gaining these massive waves of people because of the recognition. And it's like, yeah, it's $100,000, but like you said, right, it comes already with a brand, with a level of recognition of younger people and some older people in the NFT space that automatically attracts people to your business. So it can definitely go very well for you.
Yeah, like, go in business with 10 buddies, right? You each put in 10 grand. You buy the ape, you got the brand. Get a food truck, start going to all the crypto conferences and sell your food right there with the logo on the truck, and sell the shit out of everything you ever there for.
Yeah, dude. There you go. Right, the merchants. The merchants in our group saying might bring it, but is anyone buying it? They're gonna be coming up with all kinds of ideas to be buying and selling things. Biomax, one of our big holders here as well, big follower of the channel, says Magic Hats SSS, big supporter of the Secret Soul Society. Shout out to you, Biomax. Yeah, man, I love the branding idea. I love. Biomax with a super chat also. Thank you. Says Mighty Merchants will bring it. DCA IRL utility. There you go. Thank you, Biomax, for the super chat. We greatly appreciate it, man. Just the branding, the overall NFT space. I mean, I'm very excited of what it's going to bring. What is your long-term vision of what NFTs are going to be, or can be?
They can be literally anything. Like the whole idea of like NFTs and Web3, kind of this whole thought process is digital ownership, and to me that's the most important thing of all of this. And right now, I think I like to say that this whole PFP movement is really the beta test of all of it. Like one, self ownership. Like, can people actually own their own shit? And then two, like there's a think about the deed to your house, your marriage certificate, your health records, your gym membership, like literally anything that you can own. You own the certificate of authenticity right there in your own wallet. So like you don't need a title company to hold the deed to your mortgage. You unequivocally have it. If you lose it, that's your fault. But I think that's the whole point of self ownership and self custody is like you don't have to pay somebody to hold that for you if you can do it yourself.
Dude, 100%. I just wonder what's gonna happen if somebody's wallet gets hacked and they lose the deed to their house. Who are they gonna call?
Like I feel like there'll probably still be third party companies for that. Like you've got like
Yeah,
a cold wallets safe company that it's completely off chain, and that's where it goes. You can check on it, but you can't touch it until something. Who knows?
exactly, exactly. I mean, I'm okay. Like a lot of people complain about like how rough it is in the NFT space in the crypto, right? You make a wrong transaction, you send it to the wrong place. Hey, there's no
Mm,
I can call you and get that money back. Right. If
right.
you get hacked, you do something silly, whether it's your fault or not, and it's gone, right? There's no taking it back. And it sucks, right? It sucks to lose money, it sucks to lose your NFTs, but that also comes with the caveat of like you do get the benefit of having true ownership, right? And to have true ownership, to have true freedom to do
Mhm.
that, you need to also break away from the crutch that people have, which is centralized entities controlling these things and always having them as a backup plan. Like, hey, I know I can call the bank and have my money refunded to me. Like, it sucks, but I mean, I think there might be some type of solution at some point in the future for it, but I'm kind of okay with it. I'm kind of okay with it being kind of a wild west because that's the
Mhm.
only kind of way to really have freedom for
Yeah.
now.
It's a lot of fun. I see there's a question in the chat. What NFT is behind me here? So it's by a guy. His name is King Blackbeard, and he's a Bored Ape and a Gutter Cat owner. And so it's the Bored Gutter Apes. I love it. He's got the you can't really tell, but his sweatshirt says "Gang Gang." He's got the chain, and his hat says LFG. He's got tattoos all over his face, man. I love it. I love how gangster it looks. I
So
almost like
that
it.
that NFT is made from two other NFT collections.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah. The
explain
Gutter
how
Cats.
the Gutter Cats and are they both they're all on ETH or is Gutter Cats somewhere else?
Yeah, so Gutter Cats on ETH and then Bored Apes on ETH, and so the owners got both, and so took the traits from both of those and combined it and made it's a derivative at the end of the day. It is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
derivative, but I just thought it was like super cool. I mean, they're super cheap, and obviously I got tattoos on me, and I thought it was pretty cool to get one that was all tatted up. I had a lot of fun getting it.
Dude, that's dope, dude. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of derivatives, but as I've gotten used to looking into more into it and reading and learning about these sub trades and learning about how the derivatives have been coming from holders of the other two communities coming together to fuse it into something new with some type of actual purpose. I've
Mhm.
gotten to like some of the derivatives a lot more than I did before, and I think it's just education. It's about learning and understanding why these things are happening. At first, when I saw these derivatives coming out, I felt like they were all just like copy and pasting, and I was like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, why are people even buying these derivatives? I would just save up and buy the original. But I see why people buy the derivatives. I see why they exist. They have some type of purpose, and I'm definitely behind them, and I like it. It does look really dope though.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. Yeah, and it's like same thing with like the lazy apes. Like that was like a hybrid, right? It was the lazy lions and the bored apes put together, and that's kind of what gave them that look. It was like the bored ape face with the lazy lion mane,
Yeah.
and a lot of that work actually ended up having to be custom drawn. And from what I understand, some of that stuff was like literally customized for that, based at the
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I really like it. And again, those cheetah gang, man. I love the cheetahs. I've got several of them. I
What
got some.
traits do you got to hold? What kind of traits you got to hold to be part of the cheetah gang?
So there's the cheetah fur. So they got the cheetah fur body, and then there's a super rare trait in the clothes attribute, and it's a cheetah suit jacket. super rare. It's
Okay.
like less than a 1% rare trade, like super rare. And
Wow.
so we let them in. It was funny, it was called the caveman pelt, and it had that cheetah fur based on it, and we let them in originally, but we noticed that they were like dumping on the floor, so we thought that out of disrespectfulness to the cheetah, so we had to boot them. So it's just the cheetah furs and the cheetah suits. That's it.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm part of the I got two apes. I got one with a cigar, so he's part of the lazy smokers, and then I got another one that has a platinum jacket, so he's part of the ballers, and he has the army hat, so he's also part of Unit 22.
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool joining all these different subcategories and seeing their different roadmaps.
Yeah, really. I think that and that even that man, like that Unit 22, like Wingman was in a space that I held a space last night, that Monday 9 p.m. for the Cheetah Gang, and he was in there hanging out with us, and I learned a lot about what he does for Wingman for Unit 22, and got to tell you, man, super impressed, and like just being
Yep.
here in spaces, and being here, present for people to talk to, and knowing what they're behind in the mission, man, I thought that was like super awesome.
For sure, dude. I mean, they do a lot with the veterans and stuff, and that's why Nick and I really support the Unit 22 movement. That's why I got one of those apes to really join that community. So before we wrap it up tonight, is there anything else you're doing, Meta Money, the show, or just in the NFT space that you really want to talk about? Plug, shamelessly. Now's the time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love that. Well, first of all, guys, thanks for having me on here. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support from the community in the chat. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for being here. Well, I know Nick says it too. I say it on my live stream, so I'm going to steal it, Miguel. Y'all, you could be literally anywhere else in the world at this particular moment, but you are here watching this with us. So I certainly appreciate that. Like, that support goes both ways, and like our job, we can't really do this without you guys. So thanks for being here. Other than that, man, I love Web3. I love the metaverse. I love this space. Come check it out. We do a live stream 1:30 p.m. Eastern on our channel, Meta Money. Come check it out. We have fun. We take shots. We do all sorts of fun things
You
during the
take
day.
shots live stream?
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. Like if we hit a certain amount of likes, we take shots. Like the other day, we had to take 4 shots in an hour, which that was probably the most I want to do. But hey, man, we have a good time. So.
Dude, that's awesome, dude. That is awesome. I'm gonna have to talk to Nick about that. Dude, that's amazing. Guys, go follow JCHAINS. Go follow MetaMoney if you're not following them yet. This man is taking an hour, some time of his life to come out here and come on the show, bring you great information, have a good time. And like he said, right, this show would not be possible without you guys. So we appreciate and love every single one of you guys showing up and smashing the likes, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it later. So guys, like always, question everything, trust nothing, and until next time, hodl like it's hot. See you soon.